In the previous 4 episodes of Norwich Firsts, we've wandered around the city, seen some amazing buildings and discovered some really interesting trivia, which has given a strong sense of the historical importance of Norwich to the history of this country. But today, I'm not going to move from this spot, because right here, I can see not 1, not 2, not 3, but 6 Norwich Firsts. So count them as we go. Number 1, the market. Now established between 1071 and 1075, it has survived on this spot ever since, making it the largest 6-day market in the UK. Now originally it was an amalgam of many specialist markets. There was the barley market with the malt and oat markets close by, leek market, cobbler's row, sheep market, butchers, fishmongers, hatters and so forth. And it's changed radically over the 900 years. From being a large open space with temporary stalls, it is now developed since the 1960s with more permanent stalls. Number 2, the Guildhall. Constructed between 1407 and 1424, it actually has little to do with guilds. It started its life as a city hall and in fact continued this role until 1938. It is the largest medieval city hall in England and, as many of you will probably know, served as a court and a prison with its cells deep beneath the pavement level. Norwich First number 3, and in fact it is the new City Hall. Now work began here in 1932. It involved the demolition of some of the old Norwich yards. It took 6 years to complete in total, being opened finally by King George VI in 1938, in front of what was reckoned to be the largest gathering of citizens in the city's history. And why is it a Norwich First? Because it boasts the longest balcony in England. Moving further round and up Bethel Street, we see the site of the Bethel Hospital. It was built on ground leased to Mary Chapman. She was the widow of the Reverend Samuel Chapman, who died in 1700, leaving a considerable sum to be used to build, and I quote, "a hospital for the habitation of poor lunatics and not for natural-born fools or idiots." Thus was built the first provincial mental hospital in the country. It opened in 1713 and for the next 100 years served as the only facility in Norwich available for people with psychiatric disorders. Number 5 in this week's episode is in fact the Forum, or to be more precise, the Millennium Library inside the Forum. Why? Because it's the most successful library in the UK. Yes, it receives more visitors and has more books taken off its shelves than any other public library in the UK. And finally, number 6 on the Norwich First from this very corner is indeed St Peter Mancroft Church. Now this fine 15th century church has seen so many changes in its almost 600-year history, as it's overlooked all the other 5 structures that we've seen today. The market evolving shape, the demolition of the yards and creation of City Hall, the fire in the old library, the rebirth with the Forum 15 years ago. Throughout all that time, St Peter Mancroft has stood here and offered pastoral care to the city community. So why does it feature on this list of Norwich Firsts? Well, on the 2nd of May 1715, it is said that the Norwich scholars, that's bell ringers to you and me, or campanologists to give the correct collective term, rang Mancroft's 13 bells, changing their order over 5,000 times without repetition. It was the first place in the world to have rung a true peal of bells. So there we go, 6 Norwich Firsts from this one spot right here on the corner of St Peter's Street and Bethel Street. Next time you're in the city, pop down here and just have a look around. You'll see all of the history from this one single spot. Well, I like to end on a quirky one, and if it's a world beater, then even better.